This is Get Real with Bob and Stacy, the show that helps you learn about the mortgage and real estate markets. Get the inside scoop from their expert list of guests and have some fun along the way. Now, here's Bob Gallagher and Stacy Alcorn.
Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacy. You're joining us for our Leaders and Legends segment, and today we have two very special guests in the studio with us, the McLaughlin team of Lair Realty Partners, Matt and Nayana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we also have a new co-host with us today, Job Torini.
Good morning, Bob.
How you doing? How you doing, Job? Good to have you on.
Fantastic.
So we're going to get right into it today. Matt and Nayana just joined Lair Realty Partners within the last 6 months. They used to be independent real estate investors and consultants, and we invited them on the show today to kind of talk about how they're going to build their business. Why don't we open up by kind of talking about the business-to-business series that you're about to launch?
First of all, thank you. I'd like to thank Ross Mortgage for allowing us this opportunity to come down today and talk about our business. And obviously would like to thank Stacy Alcorn for offering us such a tremendous opportunity to join her team. We are taking a little bit of a different approach to marketing, I think, than some of the other teams. The traditional teams, I should say. Mm-hmm. We are actually committed to reaching out and doing some door knocking, some of the old classic things that you see. For example, the Century 21 model back when I was growing up. I got to say I didn't like the color of the coats, but I really loved the commercials. You'd see them in coffee shops, you'd see them in neighborhoods talking to people and really being that community-based sales agent or realtor. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I grew up watching, something that over the years in different sales jobs that I've had that was essential, whether it was a business-to-business sale or business-to-consumer sale, that the bottom line is you can't get business unless you ask people for their business. Mm-hmm. So, over the years that it's transitioned into these social media and emails and then just direct mail, you lose the personal touch.
Right.
So we've started in January. Every nice weekend day, we've been out knocking on doors, providing some information, introducing ourselves. In the town of Andover, which is our neighboring community, and it's been going pretty well. We're getting a lot of feedback, getting a lot of recognition in town, and getting to know our neighbors.
Excellent, excellent. That's a good way to get started. Now, can you talk a little bit about that the business-to-business series that I mentioned? I saw the promo that you guys launched this week. The video was awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing it coming out. Can you kind of talk about what you're going to cover in that series?
Absolutely. That's an idea that actually was that came up from my wife, who's sitting over there quietly, trying to get her engaged here. But this is actually an idea that she came up with that I thought was fantastic. And it falls right in line with, what Stacy and the Lair Group does. I mean, we're building local businesses. Mm-hmm. We're trying to keep that direct connection to our constituents without having that big corporate feel.
Excellent.
So we're trying to promote local business. We want to make sure that the people in the communities that these businesses serve know the background. I mean, Everybody has a compelling story. So we started knocking on some business doors, and people were excited to join us and allow us to promote them, and in turn, in good faith, they'll be promoting us back to their customers. So it's been fun. We've been doing it for a few weeks. We've got a couple of people that we're ready to launch with. I think tomorrow. Nayana's been editing late into the night, getting things done, but that's going to launch tomorrow. We're very, very, very excited about it. Our first guest is Donnie McLaughlin Jr. He's the co-owner of Wamiset Lanes and a new company called Escapeology in Tewksbury, two huge entertainment centers right in the Merrimack Valley. And through our community, through walking around the town of Andover, one of the things that we've been getting feedback from people is things to do for young kids in the Andover community. The high school, the junior high school level kids, they really kind of hang out at the burger shop downtown, and parents are wondering what they can do. So by reaching out to Donnie, we are going to be now promoting them and connecting them with some of the Andover moms, and seeing what they can do for some after-school things for Andover, for the kids in Andover.
That's excellent. Excellent. Job, that ties in a lot to what you're always saying, supporting local business as opposed to business on a national scale.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see that work in several different communities. It's more common now than you've seen before. And along those lines, I mean, both of you have owned successful local businesses before. Coming into this business, knowing you had several options, what made Lair the choice for you in terms of building your local business there as opposed to, say, a national brand?
I think the culture. The culture at Lair is they allow you to grow. She promotes, or the whole company, from our leader, Stacy, promotes entrepreneurship, outside the box thinking. Someone like me, just to be frank, I'm not someone that's good in a caged environment. I need some freedom to grow, and I need a structure to keep me, in line. So it seems that it works out. It works out just perfectly for us. I mean, the resources, the training. I mean, we looked for months and months and months to find the right home for us. We knew we had a specific set of skills, and we needed to find the right place to land to grow those skills, to help the company grow, to help us grow both professionally and personally. We met with a couple of people, and I think Stacy was the third or fourth person that we had sat down with, and she came referred to us by a mutual friend. And boy, I tell you, in the first 2 minutes that we spoke to Stacy, I already knew, and I was hoping that Nayana was feeling the same thing I was feeling, that we found a home. I mean, this is a place that we're going to be for a long time. Hey, I mean, we got married in Disney World. She did a nice little thing on Walt Disney, and she, the support, the fact that our symbol is a lion. Our first bulldog's name was Mufasa. So I mean, we are huge Disney people.
It was a sign.
It was a sign.
To be there.
So everything kind of fell into place.
Everything.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
I mean, and one of the things that I've been able to work with Matt and Nayana on is really how to build their local business and getting feedback from them on how they've built the former businesses that they had that were very successful, and how we can use some of those common practices right here at Ross with what we do.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think some of the unique things that could probably expand some of the way that local business owners feel about things is that, this team, this business understands that even though they're local, they have to do local things and the social media things that are required for any large business. It's easy to distinguish yourself from a national brand as a small local company, but to get that message out, sometimes you have to use the same methods of communication. And that's what I think will distinguish this team, is that they're building out organically their social media path and presence.
Right.
And that's, you build out 12, 14,000, 16,000 organic views to your site. You're a common business. You're a local business that people are recognizing. And that's, I think, what they already understand, that maybe not everybody does. That just because some business has a large presence now, a year from now, that presence can change. And that can happen faster than ever with social media.
Right. Excellent point. Why don't we talk a little bit about your value adds to buyers in the marketplace?
It's selling real estate. Everybody has their approach. There seems to be a standard. You get the house, you take your photos, your videos, you upload them onto your MLS, your Zillows, your Realtor.com, Redfin, Trulia, all the sites. And there's literally thousands of homes that are listed every year. So I think that the trick for every good sales agent is to find out how to weed your way through all the noise.
Right.
What makes your listing stand out? So you have to do those standard things. And I think that what we found over the years, even selling our own properties and utilizing other realtors, is that, geez, it seemed like it was a set it and forget it mentality. You came in, you met with us, we liked you, we liked your approach, and then the activity was an open house, and then our stuff is just floating out there with the hundreds of others. What made us unique? So we looked at, obviously, the crux of sales is you want as many people interested in the property, bidding on your property as possible, so that you can try and push that envelope and get as much money back for your investment as you can. That's what our duty is as agents.
Right.
To get our clients the most money in the shortest amount of time possible. I mean, people don't want to have their house on the market for month after month. It's disruptive. It prohibits you from moving on with your life. It's not just a dollars and cents transaction. It's an emotional sale as well. I mean, people have their memory after memory after memory in these homes. So we try to figure out a way to capture all that and make it a little bit unique. So that's kind of our when we approach something, we're looking at it through that type of those lenses. The step that we take additionally is that we will actually actively go out and call the top agents, top brokers, top agents, salespeople in the area and drive them towards your listing. Most people just send you an email, and I don't know about other agents, but when we get dozens and dozens and dozens of emails and it gets lost in the noise, our direct approach says, hey, I sent you an email earlier. Our MLS number is XYZ. Take a peek at it. We've got a motivated buyer. The place has these 2 or 3 key features. Maybe you have someone you're interested in. And we call them to drive the traffic and alert people directly that we have this unbelievable product that they should bring their buyers over to come and see. Just an extra step.
Right.
So we're hoping that approach, gets that time limit, gets the amount of time that the house is on the market. It's the shortest amount of time possible. Drive people there, and drive the interest up so that it's a commodity that people want. It's something that they want.
So you drive the price up too.
That's the hope.
More people you get there, the more the price goes up, right?
That's the hope. Again, it's our job is to get the most money for that house for our clients that we possibly can. And if you're not actively trying to do that for your clients, then you're not representing your clients appropriately.
Absolutely.
That's just our philosophy. And I don't mean that negatively to anybody else, believe me, but just for our own personal goals and objectives, that's the approach that we take, and that's kind of our philosophy.
Excellent. So why don't we talk about the real estate market in general? So everybody's probably heard the horror stories. You go out to make an offer on the property, you find out you're one of 10, 20. I'm even hearing 40 and 45 offers on places now. What's your experience in the marketplace, and where do you think it's headed?
Well, we're watching interest rates rise, which generally is an indicator. Sometimes it puts a little panic in people, wondering if they're going to be able to move their property now that the cost of the house is actually going up. So we're expecting, this time of year, things really pick up anyway. The spring, summer, always great times, to list homes. But I think the interest rate is a big factor right now. I think that there's uncertainty over the new tax laws, the fact that people can no longer rely on the interest, the deduction for their mortgage interest, is a key factor now for people. I mean, does it take you from buying a $600,000 home, and does it bring you down to the $575 rate? Does it make $575 down to $550? What is that adjustment going to be when people look and say, I get this tax credit with the new tax credit, but I'm losing X. If I'm carrying a mortgage of $500,000 or more, how's that going to affect me towards the end of the year? So I think that's starting to resonate with people. I've had a lot of discussions with homeowners. That seems to be what they're talking about as we're out knocking doors in the neighborhood. Those are the questions coming up. What do you see coming down the road with the interest rates? I said, well, it's been pretty clear that they're going to bump them again. They've announced that, and I think that they predicted the next 3 rounds they're going to bump them. That's what they came to be saying. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and that's something that that people have to look at, especially people that are buyers, that you're putting your budget together today. You have to figure, you're more that pretend. If you're pre-qualified for $350,000, what's that going to mean to you if the interest rate bumps up another 0.5% in 4 months?
Right.
Does that whack your budget out? Do you have play in your budget? And from a homeowner's perspective, if I'm trying to sell my home, if the funnel gets smaller of people that are qualified or even capable of paying a mortgage to buy my home, I've got to start thinking about maybe this is the time now so they can be locked in low and get rid of the house now. So I think that's the mentality where people are heading.
Right.
And you can feel the pressure coming up. As we started knocking in January, and everybody was just getting over the holidays, kind of interesting. What are you weirdos doing here? It's January 15th. It's still winter. Like, well, it's 50 degrees out. We're going to come out and say hi to you. So it was interesting. But this as February, they raised the rates in February, correct?
Yeah.
So towards the end of February and these last few weeks, people have asked, do you think they're going to move them up again? And I said, I think it's a certainty. They've announced that they're going to. And you kind of leave that little nugget in their head and hope that they call you back and say, hey, get this thing off my hands.
yeah, definitely. So we're talking with the McLaughlin team, Matthew and Nayana. Let's give out your contact info for anybody that's looking to buy or sell pretty much anywhere in and around Andover. That's where you're covering right now, or?
Yeah, we cover the Merrimack Valley.
Merrimack Valley.
Yep, we cover the entire Merrimack Valley. Right now, we're focusing, because we're knocking on doors. To make it impactful. We're starting in one section of the Andover community, and we're walking through, and we figure in the next 8 to 10 weeks we'll be through there, and then we're going to do some activity in the North Tewksbury area, the Belvedere area, Lowell, North Andover. We're going to start expanding out, but right now we're just concentrating on the one area for our resources.
Right.
As we grow as a team and get bigger, we'll have a bigger footprint and we'll be able to do more. But for now, just kind of keeping it concentrated.
And what's the best way to contact you?
Best way to contact us right now is we actually give out my cell phone directly, so you can text or call me at 508-826-2778.
And let's give the number one more time.
It is 508-826-2778. That's my direct cell phone, and you can text or call me anytime, day or night.
Excellent. So we've only got about a minute left. I just have one last quick question for you. You and Nayana have done some.
I'm actually married, Bob. So
yeah, you got me on that one. So house flipping. You guys have done some house flipping in the past.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on where that's going right now? Because it's all the rage. Like, everybody thinks they can flip houses. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we got into it a long time ago. I always tell people that before Christina El Musa and Tariq El Musa, it was Nayana and Matt. We were doing it up here a long time ago.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we never got famous. But it's a great field. But it's not something you should go into if you don't have experience. If you don't have any construction background, you don't have any investment, you need to speak to someone that knows what they're doing. You can get into these houses. Most of them are sight unseen. If it's an auction, you have to come up with the money up front. You have to be able to, if you don't have cash, you have to make sure that this house that you can't see is mortgageable.
Right.
And that's very difficult to do if you can't get inside it. And oftentimes those houses that are in distress, they fall into some destruction, and they're not kept well because there's financial issues there. There's emotions. There's money. So sometimes you fall into the great unknown. So I recommend caution. We've done very well. We've been able to make a living doing it, and we've been fortunate. But I think the success rate in doing that is even slimmer than that of being a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Because
you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, because if you look at the inventory now of partially finished homes that have been purchased either through short sale or foreclosure, because people bid off way more than they can chew, I think I see more of those on the market now than I do just the straight REOs or bank owns, because the inventory is shrinking there.
Right.
The last 2 or 3 houses that we looked at with a client were all partially finished. I walked into it was a 4-family up in Fitchburg. I'm walking around scratching my head saying, well, I only see 2 apartments here. They tore out the staircases because they probably didn't want to have to put in the fire suppression systems that are required with 4 families and more. I mean, there's a lot of regulations to look at. And all of a sudden, like, okay, that's an extra $10,000. Then I have to put the staircase back in. There's another $15,000. So we're talking to clients like, you got $40,000 before you buy this house to bring it back up to code where they're going to give you an occupancy permit.
Yeah.
Really? I'm like, oh yeah, really.
That's something you need to know
really,
before you buy.
You need to know that because where are you going to come up with an extra $40,000?
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. So we're just about out of time. I wanted to thank you both for joining us. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.